My name is Dominic Tolero, and I'm Director of Industry Solutions for IBIS Inc. As part of our Advanced Supply Chain Software video series, today we're going to talk about Advanced Inventory Management. Inventory Management is one of the modules that we built and added to our Advanced Supply Chain software because you've planned, you're taking orders, we've planned to our Advanced Revenue Management, we've emphasized and optimized our order entry capabilities through our Advanced Order Management module, and now, the execution. We have to execute on these things. So we have to get the product out based on all the previous steps that took place, and we have to do it in a way that the customer is satisfied, in a way that's efficient, in a way that meets our processes as we want to use them internally as well as externally with both our vendor and our customers. So if we look at the functionality that Advanced Inventory Management brings to the table, you'll notice that there's methods of managing the inventory from vendor managed inventory, where your vendor has inventory at your site and they're managing it and you're not paying for it until you actually use it, in which case once you do, we automate the whole process to ensure that you can receive the item and invoice it as quickly as possible. So there's no need to go in there and manually do the receipt and so forth. The system is set up to do it automatically for you. Consignment inventory. Well, that's where you actually deliver a service to your customer and your inventory is sitting at their site. Well, same processes apply in that once the customer uses it, you need to be able to invoice it, show that you've shipped it, it's removed from the warehouse, and now it's been sent to the customer has received it, and you can actually invoice it. So all of those processes are automated, so it could all be done as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. Consignment inventory also adds another dimension. If you're using vending machines, that's one of the ways that you can approach the management of the inventory inside your vending machines. One extremely important item is advanced landed cost. As you make your decisions as to whether you're going to source near shore, offshore, as you pick which shore that you're going to be sourcing your items from, you need to know what the true costs are. This is strictly for costs, and we track the vessel, the container, the order, the line item, and we build those costs accordingly all the way down to that level. And we give you an estimate originally, and once it's received, the order you can still accept the actual costs as they come in, so you can update it so that by the time that you've received everything, now you've got a true landed cost, not an estimated landed cost. We go on and we look at things such as vendor performance management. It's extremely important that if you have agreements with your customers in place and you have agreements with your vendors, that you be able to meet those agreements. And this is one way of managing that to ensure that those items, the items that are being shipped to you by your vendors are actually coming as expected. In our advanced order management, we were talking about lost sales tracking, where you can work out certain special agreements with your customer to ensure that you have inventory when they place an order. Well, our customer allocated inventory has actually been set up specifically to execute on that kind of agreement that you have in place. We allow you to actually set either production or actual inventory aside so that when an order comes in from certain customers, those items are always there for them. We set up a hierarchy so that you have level 1, level 2, level 3, and so forth. We set up rules on whether you can take from somebody else. Sometimes we have workflow management that tracks the requests that need to go to the salesperson in case you have an order that comes in for a hierarchy 1 and you're looking to take it from a hierarchy 2. Can I do that? And if it says sometimes, then an email is forwarded to the salesperson to make sure that it's okay and that there's not an order coming in the next 5 minutes, in which case we would be creating a back order for that customer. All of this is tied into your MRP so that the calculations are done, but it's also tied into actual orders so that there's actual consumption, customer reservations when the orders come in. So there's no danger of doubling up on your inventory and all of a sudden creating a massive issue with your inventory turns and your inventory costs. Cable and reel management will allow you to actually order to cut. In other words, when you receive an order, it'll tell you the amount you need to cut. It'll keep track of duds. In other words, you'll never be left with inventory that you can't use because we'll keep track of duds. We'll also make sure that we know how many times you may or may not be able to cut a length. In some cases you can, in other cases you can't. We keep track of what it is that you need to extend the tips, both at the beginning and at the end of the cable, because there may be some work that needs to be done to that. Therefore, you need to have 6 inches extra on both ends. So there's a lot of management that goes into place in those areas in order to be able to have you deliver to your customer in a satisfactory fashion, and trade services price management, because most distributors want to keep their catalog up to date, and the best way to do that is to get that information directly from the manufacturer. So we've actually created the interface between trade services and our software, so that the information is transferred directly into the software and helps you create the catalogs that you're looking for. The benefits that we see that we bring to the table with our advanced inventory management is obviously we're optimizing inventory, which is extremely important. We're also created an operational process that represents and reflects how distributors actually deal with their inventory, and how they can move their inventory, how they can keep their turns down, and how they can minimize the cost of actual inventory in their hands by managing either consignment inventory at the customer site, or having their customers, their vendors, support them with vendor managed inventory, which is the reason why we created our advanced supply chain software, is increased margins. Everything leads to margins because margins are extremely important to all of us. For more information on advanced supply chain software, and specifically on advanced inventory management, please visit our website at www.ibisinc.com, where you'll find much more information.